but I do agree that some gear, like when I did Deca, oh my God, I didn't want to leave the house.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Stephane, who is loading up those machines with as many players as he possibly can. So him and his coach Patrick Tour, they have been wasting no time whatsoever, as Stephane is also unlocking new level of strengths in the gym while working out. Stephane's men's Open Pro debut, that is gonna be one of the most anticipated one sometime in 2025. Now, at the moment, we have absolutely no idea what to expect from him in terms of where he is gonna place. Because men's open, that is also more about size. So Stephane will definitely be at least 10 to 15 pounds heavier, maybe even more than that, at his men's open debut than what he used to weigh in the classic physique division. Because about 5 to 7 pounds, that is simply that weight that he was forced to lose while making that weight cut off. And that was all in the form of muscle. And with that, he also lost a bit of fullness and a bit of pop to his muscles, to his physique, in order to make that weight cut off. Plus the fact that the way he has been depriving his body of all the food, even in the off season, because he was just so afraid that he's gonna have to lose all of that while he's in the prep phase. I think his body is gonna blow up like crazy. I mean, it already has, to some extent. Because now that he's having a proper off season, the updates that he has been posting, they are all a proof of that. Now he could have stayed in classic physique, and with the package that he brought at this year's Portugal Pro, he would have qualified for classic physique Miss Olympia every single year. But the world of bodybuilding, they would have never seen him at his 100%, at his true potential, at his very best. So his best, I believe, is definitely loading for next year. And that is gonna be a treat to watch. Sergio Oliva Jr. hasn't made it official that what show he is doing in 2025, but he has guaranteed that is coming back to the stage next year and very determined to make it back to the Olympia stage for the second time in his career. Now, I have got to say there is a very big if in this whole scenario, that everything needs to go very well to perfection, because Sergio was planning to compete this year as well until he hurt his ankle and his shoulder, and he had to sit out of this entire season. So Sergio was spotted moving some really heavy weights, specifically in that pressing machine, which means he is 100% healthy and all is well now. And as fans, we all really need to see what he is truly capable of. What is his true potential? He is, after all, one of the biggest guy in the men's open bodybuilding circuit. But him being 280 pounds on the stage, that doesn't really mean anything if he isn't in shape. Just ignore the opinion of the fans about him. He himself believes that the last few times he was in good shape, that was more than 2 years ago. That was at the Arnold 2020 when he was working with Chris Azito. Now it is so unfortunate that we could not see him do this prep with Dorian Yates, as they both trained together for months and months, and Sergio ended up not stepping on the stage, and he had to sit out of the entire 2024 season. So is Sergio still working with Neil Hill? I think so, he is. And this is gonna be really exciting to watch, because this is gonna be the first time in Sergio's career he's working with a different coach other than Chris Azito. So Sergio is currently 40 years old, which means zero margin for error in 2025, because it is literally now or never. Next up, we have the current off-season physique update from James Hollingshead, who is back into that routine of doing some posing rounds fasted in the morning. So the level of competition that we saw at this year's Miss Olympia, that has just gone way up, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. Especially from that time when James said he wants to place top 6 at the Olympia level. I believe he said that during the Olympia prep back in 2020 or 2021, which was also the year he made his Olympia debut. Now that seemed more realistic at that time, because guess what? Justin Rodriguez was top 8 at the Olympia that year, and Muhammad Shaban made top 10. And I believe these two guys that I just mentioned, they will have a hard time now, even qualifying for the Olympia, let alone place top 10 again. So James taking this entire season off to get bigger, to improve his physique, after doing just 2 shows this year, the Arnold Ohio and the Arnold UK, that 100% makes sense, because the man really needs to step up his game. He has to come in a lot better, even to place in the second call out. Now we have seen some great looks from James Hollingshead over the years, So I personally like the one that he presented back in 2020 when he won 2 shows, where he looked really dry and granite, and he had that rock hard conditioning. But this is gonna be the one that really counts, because after Stephane having such massive success with multiple of his clients, the next one in line, hoping to bring his all-time best, that is none other than James Hollingshead.
Honestly, you can get away with like a very low amount of Trenbolone and
Yeah.
you will get great results, just putting it out there.
So what Fuad and all these other guys they are doing on their podcast, that is really productive. And let's just hope that the younger generation and the younger audience can listen to some of the advice that is being given. So in the recent times, the most notorious drug, Tren, that has been widely used by all these young guys, and we aren't even talking about professional bodybuilders, just the normal gym rats, because of the social media trends. And it is just so insane to think that the younger generation that isn't even thinking about the potential side effects of this specific PED, especially what they could encounter later in their lives. And even though all these famous names in the bodybuilding industry, they have spoken about this so many times, that Tren is like one of the worst drugs ever. Look, all these guys on the bro chat, they are all professional bodybuilders. And they cannot tell someone not to take gear, even if they wanted to. But Martin Fitzwater, putting this information out there about the most famous guy in bodybuilding, Chris Bumstead, that might convince many of these young kids to take a safer route in their bodybuilding journey.
Chris won all of his Olympias without it, so that
Yeah.
tells you.
Colin wants to know.
So Chris himself said that he did use Tren very early in his pro career, but he would never risk putting that thing in his body ever again. Just imagine he won 6 Olympia titles without Tren, and there is almost a guarantee that all the other guys who were chasing him and the classic physique title, they were on it. Because in order to win, you do whatever it takes to get that 1 extra %.
From back in the day, one of them was taking such a mild dose of Tren that if I told people, they wouldn't even believe me, because anything over that tiny amount would fuck him right up.
Mhm.
But even with that tiny amount, he was still getting a difference in his look.
Regan Grimes assured his fans that 2025, that isn't gonna be disappointing, as the man looks absolutely massive in his latest physique update. So his back has always been his strength, and it looks like he's gonna make it even stronger for next season. Now I can see some of the frustration and disappointment that Regan gets on social media, because he did a total of 3 shows in 2023 after taking a full year off, and then he decided to take this year off as well. I'm sure Regan would have qualified for the Olympia if he tried. With 2023 Olympia physique, he can win multiple shows every year, but he just doesn't want to place top 10 at the Olympia level. He wants to be in the first call out, because this is what has been told to him by Milos and Jay Cutler, and he has a lot of untapped potential that can only be fulfilled if Regan is able to fill up his entire frame, because he is one of those physiques who can put on another 10 or even 20 pounds of muscle on his frame and still look very pleasing to the eye, because he has zero chance of getting blocked here. I mean, he has one of the biggest frame in the men's open class. I think this is gonna be the last time he's taking a full year off, a full off season, and we're gonna see him on the stage multiple times before the Olympia next year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.